Uh, Hello, this video is just something I wanted to get off my chest in the middle of work and other things. It's just putting one and one together to make three, maybe four. Just an odd sequence of events. Okay, well, the conclusion that I got from all this is multifaceted, but ultimately, I think the first one about Africa kind of goes to show that the people of a country or even a continent don't really get a fair share of the wealth of the continent for a number of factors, all related to capitalism. And we know very well that Africa is not some place that people tend to think of as a wealthy country where people live a nice middle class lifestyle. We all know that the wealth of the United States is being concentrated in the hands of the few by a number of different means, but one of those means is through the forces of the government. But tell me why, if you were a government employee at a solid government job or you had a solid military job, why would you take advantage of your position to enrich yourself beyond just doing your job and collecting your nice government paycheck? Why would you engage in corrupt activities or engage in espionage even? And if you're a banker or a high level employee at a startup or some company that's making serious money, why would you engage in activities that are blatantly criminal? Why would you even do something in your office that might cause you to be arrested and serve significant prison time? Jared Fogle is a weird case because he was into child porn before he became famous for losing weight by eating Subway food. So this is a different story, but at the same time, how many other people are there out there like this guy who were psychopathic criminals at a young age and just didn't get caught until they were much older and much more successful and well established in life? And you see this trend, I think, in our society of people either cracking from the pressures of their lives, the mundanity of their lives, or just really exposing their inner demons by engaging in these crazy sexual deviant activities, antisocial psychotic activities, when they don't have to. There's no real reason to do so. Why would they even do these things? Well, they do it just because that's the kind of people they are. That's how they get their kicks. But let me ask you a question. Now, suppose that not only did we have people in the United States that are doing this to get their kicks, suppose we also have people in China and India who are doing this to get their kicks. Now, the United States is the United States. At least we have some semblance of law enforcement, some semblance of right and wrong, some semblance of social standards. In India and China, they're borderline chaos in terms of these things. Plus, the economy in China is certainly stronger than it is in the United States, and that is partly due to the fact that the legal standards, such as employee safety and criminal standards and so forth, are much more state controlled and much more oriented towards the maintenance of power and exploitation of the masses than it is in the United States. China is like the United States on steroids. Okay, we're looking at a population approaching 2 billion people. The United States population might be approximately 350 million people. India's population is approaching 2 billion people. Okay, those two countries together represent almost 40% of the world's population. Just think about it. If people in China are buying wives, they're going to people possibly on the internet and ordering a wife who's being kidnapped, forced against her will, partially because she's underage and partially because she has no clue what's really happening to her. And this is a common problem we have in the United States with people who are being offered jobs, and then they come here and they find out they have to work in strippers in New Jersey. It's even bigger problem in like the Ukraine, in Asia, and certainly even in London and Germany and Europe, where people are being told they're offered jobs to come and work as like cleaning ladies or domestic apprentices or whatever. They get to these countries and find out that they're being used as sex slaves. Imagine what it's like in Asia, in China. Imagine how bad it is. And then also realize that part of the problem is that China and India have had restrictive reproductive policies which have generated a massive imbalance between the number of men and the number of women. Part of the problem in these countries is that they have this large population, this growth population, despite the fact that they're killing off their own women to have it, to control it, I'm sorry. Now, put all this together and just think of what happens when you're the world's largest economy, you have the world's largest population, you have most of the advanced technology in the entire world, and you don't have any women for your men to marry and have babies with, even if they can have one or two babies. What do you do then? You look across your border and you go, oh, that country only has 1 million people in it, and half of them are women, and the economy in that country is crap. And that's the case for Taiwan and most of Asia. You go and you look at the western side of India, where India is another 1.2 billion people, and India has the same problem. We have Afghanistan, we have Pakistan, we have all the former satellites of the USSR, we have most of Central and Eastern Europe, and we have a large part of Western Europe. There's not much that the Chinese and Indians could not do if they decided that they were going to reach out and grab a hold of a fair number of women living in other countries. Some of whom would go there anyway just for the economic opportunity, and some of whom will be going there simply because they're kidnapped and exploited as sex slaves. What do you do when you're Russia and your entire country is 145 million people and you are right next door to a country that has over 10 times the population, 80% of which are men? What do you do?